Mushrooms are their own kingdom. They're not part of the plant kingdom. They're different than plants. And there's some ways in which mushrooms are more like animals than they are like plants, actually. So mushrooms are in between these worlds again. And again, it's really interesting that there's aspects of mushrooms which are much more like animals and less like plants. There are aspects of them which are more like bacteria and so on. They have really important relationships with bacteria. In our guts is one example of their relationships with bacteria in our microbiome. A lot of, for example, go back like from a medical point of view, I mean, a lot of course, antibiotics are coming from fungi, right? So penicillin is grown on yeast, and other antibiotics are grown basically through the process of fungi and yeast and so forth. And probably what's going on there is that those fungi have developed ways of protecting themselves from bacteria, and then we're just benefiting from that, right? We're through the antibiotics, we are basically just like we do in Chinese medicine all the time, where it's like Chinese medicine, we see something that looks like we recognize the qi of something, and we basically say, oh, I want that. You know what I mean? It's like you see a gecko, for example, very, very quickly moving out of the way, and you say, oh, I want that. I want to use that to ignite my yang, right? You see a earthworm, scrunching its body and burrowing into the soil and moving in a particular way, and you say, oh yes, this is going to allow movement in the channels. I want some of that. This is the way that aerates the soil, allows more qi to move through the soil. I want that in my body. Let me eat that earthworm, and so on and so forth. I mean, it's all about that, right? It's all about, watching the way an animal moves, watching the way a plant grows, looking at a plant growing and saying, oh, the fact that it is not quite at the place where it's going to open, it's just about to open that bud. I want that because I want to take it while it still has that energy of being just before it opens, so that it opens inside of my body. So it's all about, in herbalism, right? Like understanding the qi, capturing the qi, and saying, I want that. So it's really kind of like the same with antibiotics in the sense that, like, we're looking at, here's this fungus, and it is developing a way of protecting itself. It is creating an antibiotic, is protecting itself from the bacteria, and Fleming and then all the scientists and doctors after that are essentially saying, yeah, I want that, let me get that. And of course that's what we did, and it's sort of changed the world.